Hi friends, I'm Torit Mato and you're watching Art and Purulia. Today we'll see how to draw nose, lips and ears. But before I start that, let me add on to some aspects of drawing eyes which I covered in the last episode. Now we had primarily seen drawing single eye, but when we draw both the eyes, many times we'll end up in drawing eyes which don't match with each other. I'll show you how you can draw symmetrical eyes. We know how to draw a face. First, we draw a circle, divide horizontally as well as vertically into two. Then, all the radii we divide into three parts each. Mark the eyebrow line, nose line, and the jaw line. Then, cut both the sides. Now, from the center line, mark the nose width. But how do you get the nose width? Though width of the nose varies from person to person depending on the basic structure, as a thumb rule, to start with, we can use this measurement. If we divide the width of the head into 5 ear to ear, we will have the center division for nose width and 2 on the sides of that nose width as 2 eyes. Now, how to get both the eyes in correct size and proportion? Once we mark the width of the eyes, we should also mark the height. Between the center line of eyebrows to the nose line, if we come down by about 1/4, we'll get the horizontal center line of the eyes. To make it symmetrical, mark the extents of top, bottom, left and right of both the eyes using a ruler or just a pencil. Keep it horizontal or vertical as required. Then draw the shapes of the eyes. That also you should draw it symmetrically. Automatically now both the eyes will be same in size and will look symmetrical. Let's also see the position and size of the lips and ears with respect to the face in general and nose and eyes in particular. We have seen the height of the nose. The ear height is also generally same. The extent of lips is generally of the same width as the distance between the pupils. By the way, these are all general guidelines. They all come with conditions applied tag. You need to modify as per actual shape and size of a person. You will see the width and height of heads of various shapes and sizes and also the facial features. Let's see some famous personalities for example before we start off with the drawing of nose. You can see these personalities, they have typical features and some people have long nose, some people have very defined eyebrows, some do not have eyebrows at all. Did you notice that ever? So these general guidelines for drawing faces and the features of the face will apply for a general face. You will have to make it look like a particular person by observing the particular face and the typical characteristics of that face, the shapes and sizes of the various facial features, and then applying it on that general face to make it look like that particular person. So now let's start off with the nose. Before getting on how to draw a nose, we'll see some basic facts. There are noses of all shapes and sizes as we had discussed. But to start with, we'll see a generic nose. What all things all the noses have in common? A nose has broadly 6 planes: top, 2 side planes, 2 nostril planes, and septum plane. That is the middle one between the nostrils. These planes too have some subplanes based on the anatomy of the construction, but we'll avoid these details for the time being. The shapes and sizes of the planes change as the head changes direction. This aspect is important to appreciate the shape of the nose and make it look pointing to a desired direction. In the front view, the tip of the nose is aligned to the center line of the face and the side planes are of same width. But as the head turns to the side, the tip of the nose goes away from the center line. The near side plane will get thicker and the far side plane will get thinner. And after about 3/4 view, the far side plane gets hidden. In the absolute side view, the far side plane, far side nostril plane, and the top plane both get hidden, and we can barely see the septum plane also. If the head tilts up, the top and side planes get shortened, and more of the bottom planes can be seen. And the tip of the nose looks very close to the eye and may cover an eye also. Similarly, when looking down, the tip of the nose goes beyond the limiting line. The limiting line we have marked denotes the base of the nostrils, by the way. So the tip moves up or down that line depending on the tilt of the head. Let's see a little bit of anatomy of the nose, which will let us understand the shading requirement better. We will not go in details though. The nose is made up of cartilage and fat attached to the nasal bone of the skull. Bridge is the middle portion, ball is the tip, and the wings are the nostrils side roundels. The portion between the two eyes above the nose is called glabella. Now let's see how we draw a nose. First we will see the front view. First draw the basic outline of the entire nose or the shapes. Then divide into different planes: top, sides, nostrils and septum. Septum is the middle plane between the two nostrils. Then mark the basic shapes of the septum and nostrils and the subplanes of top and side planes. Then mark the dark areas, including the cast shadow area, in just 2 shades initially. Once happy with the basic shape and shadow markings, darken the darker areas like nostrils and shadow area under the septum. Keep the highlights on the ridge of the top plane and over the wings to show the form. Now let's come to lips. The basic shape of the lips from the base of the nose to the top of the chin is in the shape of a bloated can. From side, the shape of chin to nose looks like a staircase. If we divide the lips into forms, the top lip has 3 forms and the bottom has 2. Above the lip, there is a concave depression in the middle. Below the lip, there are 2 bumpy portions on the either side, because of which an arch is formed under the bottom lip. Also, at the corners of the lips, there are bumps. While drawing the lips also, we first find the position of the lips and mark the extremities depending on the angle of the head. Then mark the basic shapes and the outline. Thereafter observe the shadow areas and mark them and do the shading. Now we take on ears. First, let's see the basic construction. The ears are attached to the head on both the sides at the concha. The concha is connected at the back and not on the front, thereby pushing the ear slightly ahead. And thus the ears face towards the front slightly rather than totally towards the side. So even from the front, we can see some part of the ear quite clearly. However, the amount of deflection varies from person to person. The ears are also tilted slightly backwards from the top. The exterior hook shape is called helix. The bottom part is called lobe and the Y-shaped interior is antihelix. The whole of the ear is about halfway vertically and the helix starts there. The shape of the ear vary quite a bit from person to person. Some have attached earlobes whereas mostly have slightly detached. For drawing an ear, the generalized ear shape be drawn first and modified if required. Almost it symbolizes a question mark but slightly tilted. Firstly, mark the outline and like all other facial features, mark the dark areas and do a shading with single tone first. Then mark the darker areas and highlights as required. So with this, we have completed today's episode of drawing nose, lips and ears. But as a face, it has to come all together to make it a complete face. Another part I have not covered till now is how to draw hair. But hair shapes and styles keep changing from person to person, and that requires good observation and the shapes and sizes and the lights and dark areas, and accordingly you can go ahead with the basic fundamentals of drawing. While drawing a portrait, of course, I'll show how to draw shapes of the hair and I'll cover in that part. So, for today, that's all. Stay safe, keep practicing. See you.